Thank you, Senator. Senator Warner from Virginia is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your comments about, in your opening comments about my legislation that deals with disclosure around the workforce. I want to come to that topic, but I want to quickly, Chair Gensler, respond to a couple of my colleagues' comments. One, I want to agree with Senator Reid. This payment for order flow, we've been talking about for close to a decade, and we need to sort through it. I think there would be broad bipartisan agreement about that. Let's make sure we make that happen. On incident reporting in terms of cyber, I think the Intelligence Committee probably has as much visibility into that space as anyone anywhere. We have virtually every member of the Intelligence Committee, Democrat and Republican, together on a bipartisan mandatory incident reporting bill for critical infrastructure, for federal contractors. We're trying to work through details. My hope is we can work with you. If you're going to have a mandatory reporting requirement, you've got to have a penalty or it's toothless. But we are trying to work with industry to make that happen because I think, as echoing Senator Tester, it's only going to get worse. And as someone who shares some of your concerns about crypto, I will acknowledge that you have only put one wild in front of West as opposed to two wild Wests. And as somebody who's worked with Senator Toomey and Senator Loomis, I think and somebody who managed to do pretty well financially because of innovation, I'm all in. But we do need some guidance. We do need some direction. This is I would go to the two wilds in terms of the description of this area. As good as some of the innovation is, Senator Loomis, some of the things I see from the Intel side scare the dickens out of me. So we need to figure out a way to, maybe I ought to join the caucus because we got to find a way to come together on this area of innovation, but also area where I can assure you abuse. I will give industry one credit here. When we were going through this definitional process, I heard from more newspapers, newsletters, entities for a group that says they're not very well organized. I've never seen a group that's got as many publications as the crypto world already has. Let me get to in my last 2.5 minutes, get to the topic I wanted to address, which is human capital investment. I think we've all acknowledged that every CEO says my biggest asset walks out the door each day, human capital. Yet we don't have virtually any reporting. I agree with the chairman. When companies offload their workers as contractors, they're really not putting their money where their mouth is. So I think our Workforce Investment Disclosure Act, which passed the House, I hope will be part of the guidance of what kind of activities you take. We've got to make sure we have ways, because I believe investors want to know employee retention. They want to know what kind of skills and training is taking place. Matter of fact, I hope that you will also go beyond workforce and really look at the whole realm of ESG reporting. Investors want this, yet there are no standards at this point. I'm not saying we need to move to mandatory across the board, but we really need some more look there. And I do want to make sure I get a question in here. And this is, again, a topic you and I have talked about in the past. I've got other legislation that would create the equivalent of an R&D tax credit, which was a radical notion, as you know, in the accounting world back in the 1970s and early 80s, to create an R&D tax credit type equivalent for companies that invest in upskilling, particularly low and moderate paid workers. I think creating an asset class around human capital makes some sense, or at least is worthy of a discussion. And I hope you'll be willing. You can pick any of those items along the way, Chair Gensler, and comment back. But I hope you'll focus on the workforce piece. Thank you,
Senator. I thank you on cyber. I look forward to working further with your staff, and I share your view in the crypto space. There's an intersection that it's it's a way to subvert our current anti-money laundering laws and subvert various things that in the Intelligence Committee we're all trying to protect on. I didn't use that term. I want to be respectful. I mean, I just used one wild. I do look forward to getting out to your great state of Wyoming when all these masks go away and everything. But on the workforce, just to say, we have looked closely at your bill and other committee members. It's like ultimately what investors tell us during the notice and comment period too. So when we put something out, hopefully that you'll weigh in also, all of the members here will weigh in and say, do investors really want this information? I've always found that if you're going to buy a company or sell a company, when I was doing that at Goldman Sachs, that people really wanted to have a thorough review of that workforce. And it's ups and downs. It's an asset, and it's a critical asset. So I couldn't agree with you more on that, sir.
Thanks, Senator Warner. Senator Tillis.